Hi, we're Skyharbor, and you're watching Inside the Mosh.
Here from Inside the Mosh, and I'm with the guys from Skyharbor. How are you guys doing? You've just arrived in Cardiff.
Yep, we have. We're doing good. It's our first bus tour ever.
Ever?
Yep.
Wow.
Like we've done tours before, but like not in.
We've done vans. Like you get hotels every night, and you don't just
where
like
the package travel separately.
Yeah, you don't just fall asleep on the bus and then wake up at the venue. So yeah, it's very cool.
That's really cool.
It didn't go off to the best start because we.
The bus broke down.
The first bus broke down.
So
when we were in Cologne. It was supposed to pick us up on Saturday evening, and it broke down, so we had to get a new one sent to us the next day, but we had to miss our show yesterday in Reading.
I heard about that, yeah.
That was terrible.
It's okay, it happens, and we got to spend another day at Euroblast Festival, which was fun. So
that was good. So
swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
So this is the first real show of like our tour package.
First proper show in Cardiff, in the Globe, which is a really nice, intimate, like
I really like
venue to be.
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
It's really cool. This place always seems to have like, you know, like music like you guys, like progressive, like really cool metal bands coming and stuff. For some reason it just attracts them, so it's really cool to have you guys here. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool.
It's gonna be great. Is there any like shows that you're really looking forward to along this like tour? Any places you haven't been before?
Oh, in terms of like new places?
Yeah, or just places you're looking forward to returning to?
I'm really looking forward to Harlem. We've never played there.
Harlem in the Netherlands?
We met quite a few people at Euroblast who said they were also coming out to Harlem. Like more than 10 people, which is really good.
Yeah, excited to go back to Budapest, back to London, of course. It's always
London
good.
obviously is very special.
New places,
Sheffield.
What's new?
A lot of UK shows are new.
Oh yeah, like Newcastle and Sheffield and South. Oh no, just those two. Yeah. We actually played a lot of these places before. Yeah. Harlem's new.
Harlem.
So
Harlem's
let's say Harlem.
The Netherlands is amazing.
Yeah, the Netherlands is
for a
great.
variety of reasons.
yeah, definitely. Go and like have a bit of a chill and relax and enjoy the Netherlands, definitely. I'm very jealous. I always like going there and stuff. So. I do it about once a year whenever I can. So
yeah, nice.
I'll have to follow you guys there sometime. You guys released your album, like Leo's latest single, Chemical Hands, a few weeks ago, and it did like the reception was phenomenal. Am I right saying you had like 10,000 views in 24 hours?
It's phenomenally polarizing.
Yeah.
How come polarizing?
Oh, it was just like our fan base. Fan base is great, but it comes from a genre where like. I feel like people have a lot of expectations for whatever reason. Like they're expecting
which is weird because
they feel like because the word is progressive, but it's this niche of progressive metal where people just think they know what to expect from the band, and we don't want to be that kind of band at all.
Yeah.
Like we knew that when we were putting out the song that a lot of the people who've been listening to us since the beginning, where we were really in that genre, wouldn't get it or wouldn't appreciate it. It's totally fine. It's totally fine, and part of the reason why I kind of got so many views so quickly was because of the polarizing thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people, when they heard it, would have wanted to listen back, just be like, the hell did I just listen to?
Yeah.
Which I mean, you know,
it was a weird song going into it. Like the first song that we put out was very straightforward, very accessible. Yeah. The second one was more proggy, like what we've done previously, more pretty clean parts and stuff like that. And this one we wanted it to be like a little bit of a right turn, So no one would expect that, and we were right. Like I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah.
A lot of people really liked it, and I mean, apart from the keyboard warriors going on about how terrible I am as a mixer, I think it was largely positive.
Yeah, it was largely positive, of course, but the human mind, we always fixate on the negative comments, so we just have to not care about it that much. But,
It must be difficult as well. You're artists at the end of the day, and you put something you've created out there on the, out there for people.
Yeah.
People often don't seem to pay that attention when they're actually making these comments and stuff and realizing they're actually.
Well, someone actually did. There was this guy who wrote a really nice comment. I mean, there were a bunch of people, but
that comment really.
Just writing really nice comments about like how we put ourselves out there and like.
That's what you need at the end of the day, isn't it?
It's cool.
I think it helps that we go in really keeping our expectations fairly low, because I mean, a lot of bands say this, but we do write for ourselves. We write only what makes us happy. So. I can imagine that if we had written the song keeping in mind, okay, we're going to cater to like a specific audience, and if they didn't like it, then we'd feel like, okay, maybe we feel
exactly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But as long as we were the only ones that were happy, you know, if there's other people who really happen to like it and furthermore put money behind it, then that's like, wow.
That's a bonus.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you guys like, you say that obviously you're making music at the end of the day for yourselves and stuff. Are you influenced a lot by music of the same kind of genre, or are there some kind of influences you get that people wouldn't expect?
I think in the beginning there was this, you know, growing community of these kinds of bands which have this similar, we can just use the D word.
Yeah, we're not gonna use the D word.
And I think we all drew a lot of the same influences. You know, there's bands like, you know, obviously Meshuggah, and, you know, early Cloud Kicker, and, you know, a lot of Devin Townsend also finds its way into these bands, and of course like what he and I also used to listen to, which is completely outside of like, you know, he's into Under Oath and a lot
I'm into like post-hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
He's into like more like
pretty proggy stuff like Ocean Size and
But we actually all listen to everything. We draw influence from like anything from like Tycho to like Sigur Rós and like stuff that's just not metal in the slightest.
You pick cool sounds and you're like, okay, I want to see what that would sound like in this context.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite cool.
Also, shout out to Carnival for like being the best band ever and influencing us to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people say that we try to sound like them, but that's actually not true. I think the main influence that we draw from them is to like be fearless in you know, your sound selection, or like, you know, a particular idea that you go for. You know, don't be afraid.
Well,
you know, don't be tempted to conform just because, you know, you're afraid of getting backlash.
Yeah, that's a really good message to be able to give out to people in general, whether or not it's...
I mean, don't be afraid of taking risks. I mean, taking risks is what got us popular in the first place. So just, you know, don't then say that this is my comfort zone and stick to it. You know?
Yeah, exactly, definitely. And I mean, considering what you guys said like a few minutes ago about like, you know, the first single you like had one kind of sound and then this one had a different one. Is that representative of what's going to be coming out with like, you know, the album and stuff? Is it like a big mix of everything all together?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is.
Cool. I think there'll be something for everyone in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure. More than any of the other albums.
Much more so than Guiding Lights was.
Yeah. Is that something you intentionally went into when recording the album?
It just happened. Yeah? Yeah, it's just what we wrote.
Just naturally organic. How do you go?
With Guiding Lights, I would say that we did cherry pick certain songs that would make it, and we felt that there were certain songs that didn't make the cut simply because it didn't fit within the scope of that album. But this time we're like, anything goes. This time I think we just felt like anything goes, you know, like it all works because this album has such a broad, it's quite bipolar in that way. There's some really pretty stuff and there's some really angry stuff.
And there's some really, like, some of the most poppy, radio-friendly shit ever.
But there's like more there are some songs which are like way more aggressive than anything you've heard in our discography.
That's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
And people they'll find something to chew on. Something like
just we'll give it all a good listen and then you'll find one that you really like. I'm going to move this in between you guys so it picks you up better considering that.
Sure.
That's now going on. And you can put it down in between you guys, it'll be fine. I'm good. Take the order if you prefer. But yeah, I was going to ask you guys, how do you, obviously you guys tour a lot and obviously it's, you know, Seacoast Bus Tour, but do you guys like to just go away for a while? And what's the recording process like for you guys when you're writing an album and then recording it? Do you like to have a couple of weeks alone?
Well, first of all, we don't tour a lot, like compared to like the bands in our genre, like our contemporaries. We don't tour a lot. Like this is our first tour of the year, our only tour this year.
Yeah.
Our last tour was last November, December with Tesseract and Contortionist and Era.
Which is pretty insane.
That was a stacked bill.
Yeah, that was a great lineup. But we've never done more than like 2 tours in a year.
Yeah, that's the max.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by that I'm talking about like full long tours like UK, Europe and North America. I'm not talking about like we have an India tour coming in November. I don't really count that as like we're doing that as well, but that doesn't count as being on the road.
On the road,
yeah. Like an extensive.
Yeah. So the majority of the year we're just
we're writing, I guess.
Yeah, we're just writing. Sending each other ideas. We have a Dropbox folder.
I have noticed this, like a lot of bands have the cycle where they tour relentlessly for a year and a half and then they take 4 months off to go into the studio, write an album and then come out with it.
Yeah.
Whereas it's more like we do one tour, then we write a bit, then we do another tour, and then we write a bit more. You know, it's like you go back and forth until you have...
We aren't really at that level where it's like so streamlined, like the albums, the definition of like the album cycle where like you block out time to write and then you block out time to do back-to-back tours.
Yeah.
we're
we
not
just write
really
when inspiration
there.
hits us, really.
We're not really there, and I'm not really sure if we're gonna be or want to be.
Because of the nature of the band and how it's all scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we write as it comes. You can't force these things.
It's a little more of an organic process as well, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
I hate using that word because I don't know what it means.
I don't know what it means either. I'm the lit student.
Natural.
But
it means natural.
Everyone just gets what it means.
It's one of those words that everyone uses but has no idea
what it actually
means. It just sounds like a really fancy word.
Yeah.
Naturally, I guess, is probably a bit better.
Yeah. But I think, the intention is conveyed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was researching you guys before seeing you guys today. We saw that a couple of years ago you played Download Festival in the UK, which the UK is like the big mass mecca.
That was on our bucket list for sure. I still can't believe we did it. It's awesome.
How was that experience? And is there any hope of you guys coming back and playing UK festivals again soon? That would be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, of course.
We pitch for it every year. It's just that sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't, and it doesn't really make sense to come all the way for us just for maybe one show. Because of the expense involved in when we travel, it makes more sense to plan, a festival as part of like a larger tour. So.
Yeah, but let's see what happens. We're releasing a new record.
Yeah,
so
once the new record's out, I think festivals should be interesting.
Are there any festivals, not just in the UK but worldwide, that you really would like to play one day?
Yeah, there's like the Ozfests and the Notfests and
I just want to go to
insane bands.
All of these, a lot of people don't know about these, but a lot of people who aren't in the US don't know about all of these massive US festivals that happen all during the summer.
Yeah.
These huge, stacked, alt rock and metal fests.
Unbelievable lineups.
They're like no-name festivals, but they're kind of the biggest lineups on the planet.
Bizarre.
And the tour that 12 Foot Ninja is on right now.
Yeah, they're playing the same festival.
They're a bunch of those massive festivals.
They're going to be playing to 60, 80,000
It's all with
people
Alter Bridge and Slipknot and stuff. I could be wrong, but those kind of bands.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just look at the headline and you're like.
My dream is one day to go over to the US and catch a few shows, because it's quite, we're on a little island over here in the UK. It's quite often looking at either mainland Europe or US, just getting all these insane tours going around. It's I know what you mean. So for us, we tend to focus on that. We've got Bloodstock, we've got Download, and then very small ones in that kind of genre anyway. So.
And Sonosphere is no longer a thing. So.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
I really hope one day that could be a thing.
Yeah, that I was a bit heartbroken when that happened, because I was hoping we would play it one day. But if it comes back, it comes back.
Yeah,
it did die once and then come back again. So
there's hope.
There's
definitely hope. It cancelled just before I was old enough to be going to festivals on my own.
Oh no!
And I was just like, no, why? Now looking back on it, where I work, there are posters everywhere.
Yeah.
Of just Sonosphere. I'm like, I was 10.
C'est
I
la
wanted
vie.
to be able to go when I was 10. It's not really possible.
C'est la vie, etc.,
Indeed.
etc.
Indeed. So obviously you guys have got the album coming out in, is it early next year? Around February? Keep teasing.
Yeah,
so as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think it'll help once we have the actual album in the bag, because
we have
still
3 songs left to be wrapped up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vocally. And then it's send it off for mastering, and that comes back, and then
we still haven't decided in terms of what we're gonna do for press.
Yeah, we don't.
And how long we're gonna.
Because we don't have any label obligations.
We don't have a label. We're experimenting with the release this time.
Yeah,
so
we don't know yet.
That might work out in the fans' favor, because we might end up releasing it sooner.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So.
I like the sound of that. Just do Beyonce and just drop an album one day. Just say, oh, here's an album.
That's something we've been flirting with that idea for a while.
That's what we've been talking about doing, but we'll see.
We'll see how practical.
What Pliny did with his recent album, he announced it just maybe a week or 2 before he dropped it. I could be wrong. Am I wrong about this? I think
he just teased it, and the next thing you knew it was there.
Yeah, and it's just it's out now. So.
That was sick.
That seems to be working well for independent musicians nowadays, but we'll see.
The internet is everything nowadays, isn't it?
That's true. That is true. But yeah, I look forward to that, and then hopefully seeing you guys again when we come back to the UK again. Hopefully. As soon as possible, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
You're most welcome. Thank you.